Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Agents of MACE. This is Agent Drew here, and today we're doing things a little bit differently, moving forward at least. So, due to the fact that She-Hulk will release on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays, we are pushing our episodes back from a Thursday release to a Friday release. So, join us every Friday for new episodes of Agents of MACE.
Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of Agents of MACE. This is exciting because we get to talk about brand new content. I guess again, I Am Groot was new, but now we're getting back into a brand new series that's leading into the final moments of Phase 4, but we are going to talk about She-Hulk Episode 1. Before we get into this episode, please be sure to go follow us on social. We are doing our first ever giveaway. If you go check out our socials right now, Drew has shared a little bit of behind the scenes and details of what that giveaway is. But once this episode rolls out, more details will be there. So Drew is not here at this exact moment, but he will be here in the episode. It's weird because it's not video, it's audio, but he'll do his editing magic and we'll share his thoughts as well. We're all getting back to our normal work routine, so schedules are changed. Disney threw a curveball at us, and She-Hulk's coming out on Thursdays versus Wednesdays, which I don't really know why. I don't think there's anything really going on Wednesdays.
I don't know, but in my heart, the good shows always came on Thursdays whenever I was growing up. So I'm fine with this change.
I'm definitely okay with it as well. It's like as we were kind of getting into our life schedule changes, that it kind of works out in my favor. So I'm cool with the Thursday show. But yeah, let's dive right in. We only got the first episode. I know early reviewers got to see the first 4 episodes. But I've been staying away from anything. So all the initial reactions I've seen have just been around episode 1. I actually watched this episode twice. I watched it the morning it came out, and then I watched it again that evening. And my first thoughts are okay. I think the second viewing, I liked it a little bit better. It's a bit of a mixed bag, especially what I've seen with a lot of other critics that are talking about this show. But I found it to be okay. I'm very curious to where it's going to go. I guess my first impression was for a 30-minute episode, it rushed a lot of things. I think we could have used a good 15 to 20 more minutes to go a little bit deeper to explain some things. But we did get at least one answer, but it feels like some things were just kind of like brushed by, like, oh, okay, well, this is why this means this. So that's my first thoughts.
I think for my first thoughts for this first episode of She-Hulk were I went into it ready to enjoy it, and I enjoyed it. It was a fun episode. It looks like it's going to be a really fun show, and it really has that Marvel feel to it. I think that this episode was a little heavier than most on just comedy, but I'm never going to shy away from comedy, so I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to hear what my fellow agents think about it, but I think that they did something interesting by making the entire first episode the backstory. This way we don't end up with a bunch of episodes that we kind of waste on learning the backstory. Instead, it was just like, nope, this is what happened. This is how she controls it and how it's different from Bruce. And now she's back at her job. So obviously there's a lot that still has to happen, but I think that it was an exciting way to start the season because now I don't have to worry that the whole time we're going to be wasting episodes on telling the backstory.
And I have really, really liked it so far. It's straight up like chick flick fodder. It's a show that is about a female character. The showrunner is a lady. As far as I know, all the writers are women. And it's leaning really hard into that. It is one of those like single gal in the city is trying to have a career and also be a monster. And I have so far really enjoyed it. It's partly because I think that Tatiana Maslany is doing an awesome job. Like her performance is just so gosh darn likable. And also because I'm anxious to see where this goes. I mean, something that I feel like nerdy folks such as myself have been interested in for a long time are what are the real world and even legal ramifications of having super persons around. And I'm hoping that that's what the rest of the episodes of this series are more focused on. I mean, she in the comics is a lawyer who works with superhero cases and superhuman cases. And so I want to see all that. I think that we could get a lot of really cool world building. We can get to know Jennifer more as a character. And so far, I'm having a lot of fun watching it. So that is my first impression.
Can see what you mean. Because especially with this episode, you know, it's so quick to jump into what led her to become She-Hulk that we haven't really gotten a lot of interaction with her, really her real life. Mm-hmm. I could definitely see this going in more of a Sex in the City style direction, especially once she's kind of getting back into her day-to-day routine with her friends and going out and doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that'll be really funny. I had to like look up Tatiana's essentially her resume because I'm like, where I know I've seen her in other things, I just couldn't really remember. So it seems like she was a big part of Parks and Recreation, which is a show I've just kind of watched scatteredly. I did watch Perry Mason, so I do remember her in that.
Mm-hmm. I never saw Perry Mason. I guess I'll have to check. The thing I remember her from most is Parks and Rec. I know that's terrible because everybody's like, she's amazing on Orphan Black, and I've just never watched Orphan Black. Yeah, that's been the number one show that everyone's referenced, and I'm not familiar with that show. So I'll just have to circle back and check out. She plays several characters who are clones of each other.
Gotcha.
And so that's why they've said that she's just unbelievable because she's playing all these different characters, and I believe them. I'm sure that it's great. I've just never watched it. On Parks and Rec, she had like a short kind of character like arc on there where she was dating Tom Haverford. But she was a doctor who was about to go and do Doctors Without Borders. So they only had a few weeks together. And then she was gone. And I kept expecting them to bring her back, and they never did.
Oh, wow.
But she was great. She was really funny.
Nice. Well, yeah, after a second viewing, like, she's really into this role, I can tell. And it seems like she's really in it more for some of the joke aspects. And we can get in some of those later. Because, like, those moments I don't know, I get a kick out of. But yeah, so we essentially we're jumped right into she's preparing for going to courtroom. Don't really know for what per se. And as she's getting ready to kind of move into the courtroom, we kind of get that break the fourth wall moment where she turns around and she's talking to us, the viewers, to kind of set things up, because we already right away, her colleague knows that she is a Hulk, which is really fascinating. Because usually things like this, especially in the superhero world, you're always used to I'm going to have the mask and hide my identity and be secret. But she seems like to be sharing this with people very close to her.
We do learn at the end that she's told her family and she's told this girl who's her friend. And that's it. So there's a reveal that nobody else knows she's She-Hulk until later.
Or really until that one moment. And then it's just kind of whatever. Everyone's just you can see the look on everyone's faces because they're just jaws are hitting the ground.
Yeah. And what's interesting is they're doing this fourth wall breaking thing with the show, which, I think about that as being a throwbacky thing. It feels like something that was really cool in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, but it's coming back hard now. And I think it's because of definitely. Fleabag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I've watched the majority of season 1 of that, but definitely get that vibe. And you get a little bit of the Deadpool vibe, right? Because Deadpool was doing a lot of that as well. I'm curious to see how much of that we'll get in this. There's one moment near like the middle that's really funny when she kind of does that, but it's almost like in real time because Hulk's just kind of like, wait, what are you doing? What's going on? So kind of like right at the get-go, it's like setting up, an event that's about to go on, and then let's turn around and break the fourth wall and go into how this happens. So we find out that she's related to Bruce Banner, their cousins. I can't remember, were they going somewhere or were they returning?
They just said they were on a road trip.
Just on a road trip, but I couldn't remember if it specified if they were on, like, they had just left for the road trip or if they were coming back from their road trip.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I assumed that they were headed somewhere. Yeah, but I don't know, because they could have very well been coming back on a road trip.
All right, and so we see, we get Bruce. He's in human form, and he's got this weird gadget on his arm, this new invention that he's created, which has helped him be able to transition back into human form. So it looks like this is kind of the answer to what we get. If you've seen the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi, you do see Bruce Banner. He's got, his arm is injured. It's in a sling, but he's not in Hulk form at this point. And it's always been a question of like, well, how did he go back to human form? So this kind of answers that, is that he's been working on some new tech, which we get a lot of tech elements here in just a little bit. We'll talk about some of those, but I'm very curious to see what else he's kind of invented, or if we'll get any more techie things. But also, like, at this point, moving the rest of the episodes, how much will we see him in the series? Almost could be like the bulk of his role could just be in episode 1.
Yeah, it had him listed as a special guest star.
Yeah.
That bummed me out. I was really hoping he would be in a lot of it.
That bummed me out too. I was like, why would you do that to Mark Ruffalo? Like, I would expect, his name's going to be like at the end, but just special. I don't know. That just felt weird. Like, I don't know, kind of bummed by that, but so we kind of get more into personalities here. I like the eating Cheetos with chopsticks. Which as soon as I saw that, I don't know if it was this season or like last year's season, but my mind went to Shark Tank, and there was a pitch that was basically like these like chopsticks.
Yeah, like the getters.
Yeah. So I was like, man, that's a missed opportunity. Like, why couldn't the Shark Tank company on there? Because these are just like the traditional chopsticks you could get anywhere. But I thought that was funny. I mean, it's very, yeah. I mean, yeah,
the way they play off each other is really funny too, because you can tell that they're a little bit competitive with one another.
Yeah.
And Bruce's strategy is to name drop his famous friends as often as he can, which is cute, because I do feel like he's genuinely kind of starstruck that he gets to hang out with people like Tony Stark. Just like, it's a huge meme that Mark Ruffalo is also routinely starstruck by the people that he gets to do movies with. And so he's like, he's in all these like paparazzi pictures, taking pictures of his co-stars. Like, he's not also a super famous person.
Right.
So all of that was cute. Their banter is fun. So that's another reason why I'm kind of bummed that it's special guest star Mark Ruffalo.
I know, like, just seeing the chemistry that they have together, it would be fun to actually see, like, and really with any of these Marvel characters, is like, what is their family? What are their families like? Like, could you just imagine if we're seeing like this family dinner? Just how much bantering's going on, just the vibe I'm getting from them. Like, you could see like with other cousins and siblings and etc. Like, there's probably so much banter going back and forth, which is funny because, like, you just know Bruce Banner is just kind of like this super smart, super nerd that just kind of turns into the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I feel like until he became the Hulk, he was probably kind of the one that everybody was like, oh, about. Yeah. Like, oh, Bruce, you poor little sad nerd.
And there's a lot of references we'll talk about here soon with other of the Avengers, but pretty quickly we see this Sakaar ship just show out of nowhere just flies right in front of them.
Which they've got to, please explain that in a future episode. What is going on with the Sakaran spaceship? Those aren't just around.
I want to talk a little bit about the Sicarian ship because I want to know, do we think that this is going to be a bigger MCU thing? Or is this going to be a storyline for this show? So I guess a better way to put that is, do we think the Sicarian ship coming to leave a message is leaving a message for Bruce that we're going to see in a future MCU movie? Or do we think the Sicarian ship's bringing a message for Bruce that he and Jen are going to have to solve together during this series? So it's interesting because we may be getting our first glimpse at a future MCU movie, maybe a future Hulk movie. I don't know.
Exactly. Because that's one of the unfortunate things with this episode is like, that's kind of it. Like, you would expect that they're going to go deeper into trying to figure out why the ship was here, but that gets overlooked. Now I could see them doing potential, like, which would be weird. Like, I don't see the point of doing a flashback just to like more interaction with episode 1 of like them discussing it. But yeah, it's the ship shows up, scares them. They're already driving like on a cliff basically, and they crash. And so this is where we get a little bit of an origin story remix, because they crash the car. They do survive. As they're getting out, she cuts her arm. As she's pulling him out, he's telling her, "Stop, get away from me, I'm bleeding." And his blood drips in her blood, which transforms her to She-Hulk. I think in the comics, it's like he has, like, she gets hurt, and he has to do like a blood transfusion to save her life, and that's what.
Yes, that was the QR code in this episode took you to that comic.
I never. Where was it?
Whenever like in just the next scene, whenever she has like gotten away from the crash and she stumbles onto like this weird club out in the middle of nowhere, and she's walking towards the ladies' room. There's a QR code in the hallway. You know, I never see the QR code, so whenever I saw that, I was like, oh! And so I like climbed up to like scan it with my phone.
I think it's
that comic.
I think there was at least 2, like in Moon Knight, that I missed and didn't realize until Drew pointed them out. I was kind of briefly, before you hopped on, looking to see, was there a QR code? Because I never saw one. Okay, now I need to go back and check it out. That's cool.
Yeah. So she hulks out after she gets that Hulk blood that we know from the movie is actually very fuzzy and green. Yeah. And so she tries to go in and clean herself up so that she can get some help. And she encounters, as many of us have, a pack of ladies in the ladies' room of the club. And they are all immediately helpful and supportive. As does happen. They're like, "Oh, honey." They're trying to like fix her up because they think that it's just that she's having guy problems.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No."
This was felt like a very Gen Z moment because they're quick to be like, you know, he's not worth it, or is it she? Or is
they're like, no judgment, no judgment.
Yeah. And then it's just like that next Gen Z moment, like, I need to make a phone call, and they're all just like throwing their phones in her face. This whole like moment of like, whatever this is, this bar, club, I don't even know really at this point, I don't know where they're at, pretty much. You definitely get, or at least I got this Terminator 2 vibe, right? Because it's just like she's hulked out already. Her clothes are all like ripped up. That, you know, these nice ladies give her an out, like basically dress her up, fix her up, and then she just, I don't know. This whole moment, it just feels like, you know, when Arnold kind of goes into like, you know, these bars or whatever, because these guys are just trying to hit on her, and that just kind of triggers everything. But then, like, as she's about to turn around, we quickly basically see Bruce like tackle her, like, or like at least Hulk at this point.
Yeah.
And then I guess the next moment, they're now like in Mexico.
Yeah. They go straight from the club to Mexico, which I know that she said that she needed to call her cousin while she was in the bathroom. So Bruce would have known where she was and everything.
Yeah.
But how does she just remember his number? I feel like she's pretty close to like my age. I don't know a single solitary phone number except for my mom's. I don't know how to call anybody. How does she know how to call Bruce without her phone? It blows my mind. But then they're in Mexico, and it turns out that this whole time Bruce has had like a little fun, it's like a vacay spot / lab that he just kind of hecked off to during like the blip. And we learn a lot about the fun things he got up to during the blip.
I hope it would be so incredible to just see like some moments with Robert Downey Jr. of them like building the bar or just kind of building out the lab and everything, which this is, I thought it was so cool and it makes so much sense, right? You know, you're looking at the Hulk, who's like always just anger just triggers him, and he's always had to like find this way to like calm down. So like, what better place than essentially paradise? Let's just go to paradise where we can zen out, build a bar, have some drinks. Tony's got infinite money, so let's just pour it all into this cool lab and just like geek out over stuff.
Yeah. And Tony would also have like a toddler during that point and was like, okay, I need like a 7 to 12 day break.
Right.
So I'm going to Mexico.
That's the series I want. I just want to see like they should do like a short series and just, it's like Bruce's bar, and it's just wouldn't that be incredible if they did a short series called Bruce's Bar, and it's just like each episode he's invited someone else from the Avengers, and they're just like, it's like a 5-10 minute episodes
directs it.
Yeah, they're just making cocktails and having conversation.
I would love that. I think that would be great.
So we definitely get a lot of those you know, moments that I do hope we get to see in some way. Would be incredible, of like, remember, you know, just thinking about Tony and bringing up, but instead of like diving into why is this Sakaar ship here, it's quickly like, you're a Hulk, I need to teach you how to be a Hulk. And quickly going into this like montage of like, here's how you need to calm yourself down, and here's just all of this stuff. Like, let me make sure I can trigger you to become Hulk.
Yeah, I love whenever he explains that anger and fear can trigger the Hulk thing, and she says, anger and fear are the baseline for any woman existing. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and explains why she hulks out whenever those creeps at the honky tonk club are being creepy to her, and so she's just like, okay, y'all asked for this.
Yeah, exactly. This this kind of moment when they're like kind of talking through things was another moment I just felt was like way too rushed. It was like he was trying to explain, like, because it's initially like, hey, you're talking like you're looking awesome, like you don't have the sling on, you don't have all this stuff, like what happened? And it's just like, oh well, I'm Smart Hulk, like your blood, like for some reason, like our blood whatever. It's just like a one liner so short that was like, it fixed everything and now I'm Smart Hulk. And I was like, can we just go in deep? Like, I want a little bit more depth around that. That just feels like, I don't know, just.
Yeah, and she doesn't only share the genetic whatever it is that makes it to where she doesn't die from gamma radiation. She hulks out with it like Bruce does. But she also has another weird genetic thing that makes it to where she doesn't have an alter ego. She's just Jen, whether she's She-Hulk or like a human lady, which is really convenient. Like a little too convenient.
Exactly. And I wish they could have, you kind of, with Banner as Smart Hulk, we're still assuming like the other guy is there with him. I feel like we just don't see it. I wish we kind of would see it to see him still struggling with that. It feels a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
that they've merged, but it doesn't seem like that's entirely possible, because it seems very like it's regular Bruce. not Bruce plus Hulk. It's just Bruce possessed Hulk, more like.
Yeah. I mean, you get like some frustration moments between them, but again, that just goes back to what you said earlier. They're just very competitive. Mm-hmm. It's just like, let's throw these boulders and like, here, let me show you like how easy it is. I'll throw one, then she throws one even further, and then he picks up one and throws it into outer space. A lot of those moments I really liked, of just them going back and forth like, I can do this better than you.
Yeah. I think I saw that some people are like irritated because they're saying, how is she a better Hulk than Hulk is? Well, she had that advantage where she was immediately like herself as Hulk. She was able to kind of move past, like, he's ripping all the pages out of his book. Like, well, we've made this much progress. She just had her more of a stacked deck than Bruce did.
There was one moment kind of in here that felt really weird, kind of like poor editing choices. Because even like initially, Jackie was like, wait, how did this happen? So like, there's the moment where they're kind of before they start their training and stuff, they're both in Hulk form, and in the next scene, they're kind of sitting down meditating, and she's human. And as soon as that happens, Jackie was like, wait, how? Like they were just talking like, how do you get back and stuff, and then it's like a few minutes later, he kind of says, oh, well, you always transition back in your sleep. I don't know, that whole like sequence just felt weird to me. Like it just threw things off. Like the editing, I think, could have been a little bit tighter in a lot of these moments, just to transition smoothly. The
her always waking up as Jennifer, that does go a little bit back to the comics, because I remember her getting irritated because, whenever she's She-Hulk, she's like fabulous and famous and all that sort of stuff, and she says that whoever she takes home always wakes up with Jennifer and gets disappointed because she's not She-Hulk anymore. So it becomes a conflict down the road.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm guessing we may see some of that in future episodes. So yeah, we get all this these sequences of training, like how to like utilize your, I don't know the right way, but like your Hulk version or Hulk body. And then it just gets to a point where she's just getting frustrated, and then we kind of flip gears and he's like, well, there are some upsides, and then we get the drinking moment, which was pretty funny because he's just like, our bodies handle metabolism different, so basically we can drink as much as we want. What does he say? All buzz, no
all
buff.
Buzz and no barf. But then she is hungover the
no
next
barf.
day, and she says it's a Hulk size hangover. So I'm like, well then, that's not better.
Yeah. I mean, that's gotta be horrible. Like, I couldn't imagine.
But yeah, that sequence is really cute.
Yeah. So they're kind of going through that moment, and then it gets to the point where she's basically ready to get back to her everyday life. Which, there's, I'm sure internally there's so much going on. It's like, she's a lawyer. She has a career. She loves this career. I love making the reference of like, I've got a job. Like, I've got to go pay off all of these student loans. I was just like, yes, like, fine. Like, let's get real. Like pretty much everyone's going through this struggle.
Yeah, you can't just hang out in Mexico and not pay your student loan debt. They will find you.
Yeah.
It would be mere weeks, and then they'd be cruising up there like, excuse me, you are defaulting on your loan.
Yeah, so, of course, like, Hulk doesn't want her to go back, but eventually just kind of like, I get it, I respect it, you've got a life, you need to go live it. I like the kind of moments where like the kind of like the last tiff that they have with each other, still trying to like show off and one up. We get Hulk does a thunderclap, and then she tries to do it, and it's like nothing.
It's just a clap.
Yeah, he just laughs, and then she starts doing it again to the point where she's like doing it rapidly, which I guess you could say it's like a throwback to like the weapons we would see in the Incredible Hulk that kind of do that pulsing. That's kind of how I would view it, as like similar thing. It's kind of crazy. It's like these weapons invented to like slow Hulk down. Like they can basically do the same thing. One of the trademark moves. You know, another thing I want more of this. I want more of Bruce's bar. Because he does mention people that, you know, there's so many references. You know, we get references of Tony Stark and Captain America, even Natasha. It's like, did they ever go to the bar together?
Maybe. I would imagine that. Well, I don't know, because I feel like there was a rift between Bruce and Natasha for a long time, so I don't know if she ever came to the bar to just kind of chill. But she might have. We just do not know.
Yep. So pretty much at this point, we're back into where we started at the beginning. We're going into the courtroom, where now we're in this courtroom setting. I don't really know who the other lawyers are, the other people, because there's a lawyer that's finishing, you know, his, I guess, either opening or closing remarks. And then as it's kind of her time to take and start talking, Titania shows up, which is crazy. I think this was like, you know, one of the things we were talking about on a recent episode is like, who could we possibly see like early on? You know, we still have yet to see if we're going to see Daredevil or Matt Murdock or anything. But I thought that was kind of crazy to get Titania in here really quick. I don't know much about this character. I'm not digging, I guess, the outfit. I know this whole moment, this whole last moment to me went a little too cheesy. We get this classic Power Rangers-esque type kick where you're just kind of floating through the air. That with like her outfit just felt, I don't know, a little too tacky for me.
I thought that Titania, is that her name?
Titania?
Yeah. I thought her outfit was fun. But I also feel like maybe the only person who could pull it off is Jamila Jamil.
See, again, this is an actress I'm not familiar with. What has she done?
She was on The Good Place. She was a main character on The Good Place. She played Tahani. And so she was also great on that show.
Okay.
She had Bruce Banner's habit of name dropping all of her celebrity friends.
Gotcha.
If you haven't watched The Good Place, you need to. It's so good.
We only watched, I think, a couple of episodes. She did a voice for the Jurassic World TV show. I wonder who she voiced. She was Roxy. Okay. Yeah, I need to go back and watch The Good Place. Check this out.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 50-something episodes, like, in total. So it's one that you finish really quickly. And it's good. Okay. I like that one. Yeah. And as far as an actress goes, I like her because she's one of those that just keeps it very, very real, like on social media. Like somebody was asking her, like, how do you stay so beautiful? And she's like, there's a literal team of people whose job it is to keep me beautiful, and it's totally unrealistic, and it's a privilege that only people like me can have. And then she goes, and I exfoliate twice a week. And so she's very much against like this horrible like industry that insists you have to look a certain way, and so she's always like on the warpath about that, which I love. Go Jamila. So yeah, I'm excited that she's in the show, even though I don't really know this character.
Yeah, I don't know what this character or villain's like superhero-esque abilities are, so I'm very curious to see, like, especially when She-Hulk and Titania fight, like how that's going to be. The only note I know is that Titania was created by Doctor Doom, which is pretty cool.
We've been hearing a lot about potential Fantastic Four connections on this show.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. There's definitely, the rumor mill was saying we could be seeing the Thing, or at least the character that becomes the Thing within the series. having a reference to Doctor Doom already is pretty strong. Will we see Doctor Doom? I don't know. I'm expecting Doctor Doom will make his appearance in Wakanda Forever.
Oh.
That's my current hope and expectation, but who knows? Maybe he could appear in this.
An official Luke prediction. Doctor Doom will be in Wakanda Forever.
Yep. But Titania shows up. Everyone's freaking out and scared because they don't know what's going on. And she just doesn't want to be She-Hulk. She doesn't want to ruin her dress. I like how, what's her colleague's name?
Is it Izzy?
Is it Izzy? I can't remember.
I can't either. I didn't write it down. Whoops.
No, I forgot to write it down too. We'll call her Izzy for now. But she like
we're sorry, Izzy, if that's not your name.
But I like how she's like stops her and is like shoes, gets her to step out of the shoes. And then as like, you know, we get that classic turnaround moment as she like becomes She-Hulk, and then we basically just get like a one punch to the wall as the cops just kind of rush her, and then just instantly kind of like turns around, turns back, and everyone's just kind of jaw dropped at like you're what's going on here, Hulk, and then kind of announces ready to make her closing remarks, and then the show just ends.
Yeah. That had big Harvey Dent vibes. Whenever he like the guy pulls the gun on him, he takes it and pulls it apart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah, fun moment at the end, just that quick, just kind of like, all right, let me do this. Like one other comment Jackie was making is like in the show notes, if you go to Disney Plus and you're just like before you play the episode and read the show notes, I think it says like turns into like a 6'7" Hulk or something. And she was like, she's got to be taller than that. Like that just didn't seem right.
Yeah, it's really, really hard for me to like track the scale of a creature on TV or in movies, because I feel like even the animators, like it switches between scenes and things like that. So if they say it's 6'7", I'm like, okay.
It's pretty fascinating.
Sure.
Like her hair grows much longer when she becomes She-Hulk. And
and it like curly.
Yeah, it's almost straight to wavy versus when she's just human form. It's short and curly. I don't know. Some of that's
that's part of like she truly feels like she's like more attractive when she's She-Hulk, and so I think they're playing up like, oh, she looks like she's more done whenever she's She-Hulk. But that would be convenient. Just your hair is done when you turn into a rage monster. That's great. That's a power worth having.
I do have a question about Hulk. I realize that the way that we know he's smart Hulk is A, Bruce is talking, and B, he's wearing glasses. But isn't the whole thing with Hulk that like he can't be hurt, and if he is hurt, it heals? So does Hulk need glasses? Is that something that he requires to live his life? I'll let you decide. I feel like it's just for an aesthetic purpose of showing us this is Smart Hulk. But who knows? Maybe it's something I haven't read before, and he does in fact need the glasses because he has Bruce's eyes or something. I don't know. But it just seems strange. It seems like Hulk wouldn't need to wear glasses.
What is Smart Hulk's vision really like? Does he really need the glasses, or is he just...
But it's a look.
It's just a look,
Bruce
right?
knows it's a look. Bruce definitely needs for real glasses, but Hulk doesn't. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's the core episode. We do get a post-credit scene where we're back at Paradise, and Jen is just fixated on Captain America's dating life.
Yup.
And then he just kind of like stops her and he's like, no, he's not. Like he's had girlfriends, like, and like knows like very like intimate facts about Captain America. Was able to like even go down to like timelines and dates. And I don't know, some of that's just kind of crazy.
It made me laugh so hard. The whole running joke.
It definitely made me laugh a little bit. The second watch, I don't know. This it's definitely a series that is not meant for kids.
It is pretty TV-14.
Yeah. Even some of these jokes, like even that one, the last joke I felt like is a little bit more than TV-14, but
it does seem to cut off like mid F-bomb at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was super funny, and especially because she's at that point, we know that she's not, but she's acting like she's just really drunk and she's really in her feelings. And she's like, it's such a waste because he's so good looking and he did so much for the country. And it also made me think, like, I guess Sharon is not like widely known about.
Yeah.
And she also they both refer to Cap in the past tense at the beginning of the episode and all the way through. And so we still don't know if Cap is just still in hiding or if he has actually passed away because he's so old now.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like there's just a lot that the public doesn't know about him, and that maybe even some of the Avengers don't know, because like Bruce might have shared like, oh, he's still alive. He married Peggy Carter, and now he's just living. Something like that. He could have said that. He could have even said it whenever she's been throwing this fit about his, never finding love. And he could be like, no. He got to spend a long and happy life with someone that he loved.
Yep.
But he didn't, because maybe he doesn't know. Maybe the only ones who know are Sam and Bucky.
Yeah. So there has to be one character that just knows everything, or at least knows, like, if Captain America is still alive, where he is. Is he on the moon? Is he still on Earth? Maybe we'll find out. Again, this would be a great Bruce's Bar episode.
If they have old Cap show up, that would be really cute. Also, our listeners, if you have not seen this yet, go and look for Chris Evans' reaction to this end credits scene, because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Chris Evans is good people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something else that I was supposed to be saying and I forgot about. No, who knows? Oh, I remember. Okay, so every episode is supposed to have a mid-credits scene.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yay, it's
which is
exciting.
awesome. Like, why can't you give us this all along?
Maybe they've just slowly tuned into the fact that people really like them.
Yeah.
And so I even like little throwaway ones like this that are just there for the funsies.
Yeah, like how many will be throwaway versus how many are going to be more story building. And I guess it kind of fits, right? Because we basically have this and Wakanda Forever, and that's going to close out Phase 4. So we're here at the end. There's going to be a lot going on. But that was episode 1. Overall, it's a fun watch. It's going to be a whole different vibe. I do wish episode 1 was a little bit longer, went into more, especially more with the Sakaar ship. The big potential theory, or, not really rumors, but I mean, I don't know how you want to call it, but it could be Hulk's son. That's very curious to see what this could lead up to, if anything. There's been so much talk, and I guess you call it rumors at this point, that maybe we are getting World War Hulk. Could we be getting a Planet Hulk? Not sure, but it's either that or it's just someone really misses their hero on Sakaar. But I'm kind of hopeful that maybe it will be Hulk's son, and that'll be really cool to see, like, where that's going to lead with this character. Could be someone completely different. And yeah, we kind of have already seen through the trailer that we know, like, Matt Murdock's in this world, so I'm excited to see him. Very curious to see if anyone else will show up.
I mean, we just gotta wait and find out.
Yeah, because we're getting 9 episodes, right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, excited. 8 more episodes. So yeah, I feel like this will probably kind of lead up until Wakanda Forever. Pretty close. So
Cool.
yeah, excited to check out more. Any other last thoughts?
I don't guess so. I guess there was another line that I wrote down that I really liked where she talks about controlling her emotions and anger, because she says that otherwise she might get called emotional or difficult or might literally get murdered. I was like, solid line. So that's literally the last thing that I had written down.
Oh, I'm trying to remember what Smart Hulk called like his training or therapy or whatever.
Was it cognitive behavioral? No, that's wrong. What? I don't.
Hang on, I'm trying to find it real quick. I don't know if I'll be able to find. Yeah, I don't know. That would have been a clever one-liner. Anyway, yeah,
No
that's
cleverness
it.
this week.
Sorry, we failed. Maybe Drew has something hidden.
Drew probably has a thoughtful question. He's had this for the past few
yeah,
weeks.
we are moving to questions, so we'll let Drew kind of handle that one this week. But
yeah, Drew, I hope you're listening to this. We just said you were going to do it.
Don't forget, our new time every week is going to be Friday for release, so definitely keep that in mind. As for the question this week, who would you like to see show up in She-Hulk? If we could get another cameo or a new potential villain for the MCU, who would you like to see?
Thanks so much for listening in, everyone. Be sure to follow us on social media because we're doing our first giveaway. Excited for that, and excited to do more of those giveaways in the future, and excited to talk more She-Hulk. So that's it. We'll see you next week as we talk She-Hulk episode 2.
Bye.